You'll remember a couple of weeks ago when we announced that we'd raised about £80,000 worth of food during the 38th annual Spring Food Drive. It was pretty awesome. It was more than it had been the year before, which we're really thankful for. It helped us a lot and encouraged us at a time when we needed it. And we've always thanked the community for being that generous. I did want to reach out to you and let you know that as of this week, we've begun the process of distributing all that food to the different groups that are around and individuals. And there's a little chart here that you'll see, which we try to outline the different programs and different avenues by which your generosity reaches out to different groups through the food bank. And I thought I'd go through them a bit one by one just so that you could see it. You'll notice how on the bottom left we talk about the school meal programs. Now there's a lot of that goes on. There's a number of different schools that we are involved with that help them during the school breakfast or school lunch hours with meal programs that help them. That's been going on for years and years, and we continue to do it. We also really help as well the over 40 other social agencies in the city. Now, many of those are outlined in the various videos that we've done over the course of the last year. But it's more and more, increasingly more, than it has been in the past. And that's because with government cutbacks, with inflation, with the tariffs that are coming, and also with the high inflation rates that have raised costs for things like food and housing and other things, it's been a really hard time for agencies as well. Givings are down in the nonprofit sector. We know that. They've been down about 20% over the course of the last few years, making it much harder for agencies to be able to help people that are in need. The food bank isn't just there to help families who come to it directly. We're also there to help those other agencies make up some of that shortfall so that they can move on. I talk about that here as well, that there's 6,000 families a month that are helped directly at the food bank. Now, when you think of all of that, that's roughly 18,000 people that we help every month. I mean, that's a lot, and it would be impossible if it wasn't for the generosity of Londoners and the various organizations and faith groups and businesses. I mean, it's just been wonderful what has been provided. But, you know, a large part of what you have provided here from this last spring food drive will be going out to those 6,000 families. And I would remind you that almost a third of those individuals that are helped every month are kids. That number as well is rising. You notice here we have a thing called Harvest Bucks. Now, we spend something like $300,000 a year working with the Middlesex London Health Unit to deliver these Harvest Bucks. So these are like coupons that people can get, and they can, at certain locations in the city, they can get fresh food with these Harvest Bucks. The food bank participates heavily in that program, and we have for years. And it's because we believe in it. We did it, you know, it was 10 years ago, we were helping about 24% of the food that we were giving out was fresh. Now it's 56%. That's a lot. That's a huge change. But it's because we prioritized this idea of getting nutritious and fresh food, perishable food, out to people that really need it. The Harvest Bucks program is part of how we do that, and we help with it each year. You'll see here about the grocery stores and the food we pick up from there. It might surprise you to learn that we pick up over 400 tons of fresh food from grocery stores around the city. Those participating grocery stores have worked with us through the Community Refresh program, which means before the food goes bad there in grocery stores, they get it to us, and we are able then to get it out to our own families and to other agencies in a timely manner. Now, that's a great help that the grocery stores have given. Most grocery stores are part of it, but it makes a huge amount of difference. But 400 tons, that's a lot. And that means that the grocery stores themselves are contributing heavily to that program. You'll see a section here for shut-in meals. Now, we work a lot with different groups that help seniors, but primarily through Meals on Wheels. We provide for them the food that's required that they can help them to get it out to shut-ins and others that are in need. It's one of the main partnerships that we have. 9% of the people that we help at the food bank are seniors, and that number continues to go up. But we're also seeing those other seniors out in the community being helped by groups like Meals on Wheels or VON or others. And we participate by giving them food or funds to help them with their food programs to be able to help people. That's just a part of where some of your donations have gone. You'll see produce from farms in there. We have run the Community Harvest Program, I would say for 12, 13 years. And that's where we will work with local farmers around the area in an effort to get the food that they have into us. Now that comes in all sorts of different manners, but when it comes to us, it's greatly helpful. And the farmers here have been wonderfully generous, not just individually, but collectively when they come together to help us, and it means a lot to us. And then you'll see here that we help food depots. There are a number of food depots that the food bank helped to get going around the city in the first year of the pandemic. Now, it was something that people had wanted for a long time in London, but it was hard to make it happen. The pandemic made it possible. Londoners gave so much, not just in the way of food, but also funds, that we were able to work with the community resource centers around the city. Now, Jane helped to set that up, and it's been a wonderful operation. It's been going ever since. That's one of the primary ways in which we move and distribute our food throughout the whole community. I haven't included here a number of other initiatives that we are involved with. Things like Homeless Meal, the Homeless Lunch Program. That's something that costs us $500,000 a year and able to provide those funds to other homeless agencies, also to groups like 519 Pursuit and Youth Opportunities Unlimited. That's an important program for us. Again, another one that started in the first year of the pandemic, but it's been really something. You'll notice also on the side of it there that you'll notice that we work with groups like Food Banks Canada. We are a charter member of that group. We were there at its founding almost 4 decades ago. And you'll also see Feed Ontario. Those groups are also food banks here in Ontario who all collaborate together, and there's a number of us that do so. We're also founding members of that organization from also 4 decades ago. It's an important partnership because it brings in food from across the country or across the province here to London, and we're able to distribute that to families. But some of the great contributors are groups like the Chicken Farmers of Ontario. They were recently at the London Food Bank and had a press conference, but they distribute over 1 million chicken meals per year through the food banks throughout Ontario. That's a special thing, but we have that with the pork producers, the dairy producers, a whole bunch of those. That comes through that broader network, that broader system. And the final thing I wanted to say about that system is that we are a hub for Southwestern Ontario. If you gave food during that food drive, the spring food drive, if you gave food or money, those stay in London and are distributed in London. But our broader partnerships that we have through Feed Ontario and Food Banks Canada and other organizations, when that food comes into London from other parts of the country, we are a hub. We steer it out to other food banks around our area. And that's been another important thing that we have done for years and years and years. It's getting more pronounced, though. As you have probably heard, there's about 40% of food banks that have already begun to ration, and they're already worried as when these tariffs come, if they will be able to keep operating. Now, we have our challenges in London, but we're not facing that kind of future. But they are, and we want to be there to help with them. When you look at it all, $11 million worth of food was given out in 2024. That's really something. I mean, it was 3.5 million pounds of food was distributed through the London Food Bank, through all of these various venues that you see here. So all that we can say to you is thank you. That food drive that we just had, these are all the ways that it's going to go out there. So you're not just helping families directly at the food bank, you're helping homeless agencies, shelters, so many other different groups, school meal programs, and there's also a lot of contributors outside of just the food bank, groups like the Chicken Farmers of Ontario or the farmers in the region and others who consistently give to us and help to make it work. And then, of course, there are the grocery stores here in London. Look at what they've done, 400 tons of perishable food they've got to the food bank, and we've gotten it out. It's a remarkable thing, but I wanted you to know that just because a food drive comes along and you're as generous as you ever have been, it just doesn't come to the food bank, it just kind of sits there. We've already begun the process this week of moving it out. Then it's going to go out through all these different venues. That generosity of yours has touched all of those lives. Not just the 18,000 people that we're helping at the food bank alone, but you count all the thousands of others that are being helped by these donations that you give through to the food bank, but going out to all of those other groups. What a difference you have made. What a wonderful thing it is. We're really thankful for that spring food drive, not just because of what you've done for the food bank, but because of what you did for this community and how you spread your generosity around to all of those groups. Thank you. It means a lot to us, and we'll just keep at it.